Okay, perfect. So we are recording. How are you doing? I hope you are doing fine, all of you. Let me close this. Perfect. So I can put this in here. Uh-huh. And I can open up like this. Perfect. How is it going? All good? Perfect. So we are going to breathe together today. Most of the seminar is going to be about breathing techniques, but let's just start with something. Let's just start with what my book says about breathing, which is basically the Genesis, right? Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. So there is a direct relationship between breathing and spirit. Actually, the relationship is based on a Latin word anima. The Latin word anima in the beginning meant breathing, spirit, soul, and then actually in the beginning what it means was breath or wind, and then over time anima was used to relate to soul, to relate to spirit too. So, for example, think about the word inspiration. How simple is that? You know, when we talk about inspiration, we just, well, yes, it could be used as inhalation, but also is clearly used as something inspiring. Something is inspiring you. So there is a clear relationship between these two sides of the story, not just the physical thing, but the spiritual side of it. And you can see this in mythologies. If you check, for example, the Greek mythology, you know that the god Prometheus was the one that formed man just breathing, as in the Genesis, breathing into clay figures. In the Hindu mythology, basically prana is the first of the three forces that create the universe. Prana is absolutely associated with breathing. So when we talk about pranayams, basically the word pranayams means the study of prana. Prana is energy, and yama means study. So there is a complete relationship between breathing and the study of it in order to connect with what is the first force of this universe creation. Remember the three forces: prana, jyoti, and prema. So the first one, prana, energy; the second one, jyoti, light; and the third one, prem or love, which can be seen also as cohesion. But it's also in Chinese mythology, you can see the key thing about a complete relationship in between this divine breath and vital energy, which is the qi in Chinese. And also in the Norse mythology, which there is not any, let's say, reference to the creation of humanity. Still, gods were forming man by many different elements, and one of the elements was breathing. So what I am trying to say when I bring these ancient stories is that all of them are related to breathing. Now think about breathing, because breathing per se is connection, because we all breathe the same air, period. But it was also separation, because, and I say this many times, as soon as they cut the umbilical cord, you separate yourself from your mother. That's the moment that marks the separation from your mother. But at that precise moment, what is the first thing that we do? Is to take a breath. So physicians and nurses are just basically focused on that you take your first breath. So that's the moment that marks the beginning of you as an individual, the separation of your mother, and then you take your first breath, and then you just become an individual. And the last thing that you are going to do in this planet is to breathe. So breathing is the beginning and the end of our life. So so if we if we think about the level of nutrients, breathing is the first nutrient, because there are four basic nutrients, and breathing is the first. The second is water. The third is fat, and the fourth is protein. Those are the first four nutrients we need to survive. We need to live. Breathing is essential, so it's the first of the four major macronutrients. And then I like to think about breathing as energy. Think about breathing as energy. I always refer to this because I think it's very important. When you breathe, if you think about breathing as energy, is exactly what is going on. You are taking all this energy within you. You are transforming this energy within you, which nourishes you, and then you are sending this energy out in a different disguise. So you are somehow transforming energy, from taking energy from the universe, nourishing your body with that energy, transforming that energy, and sending that energy out to the universe, which it takes it in order for other beings to live. It's a fantastic dance. Breathing is a fantastic dance that we all dance in this universe. So we are helping other beings just by breathing to survive, and these beings are helping just by transforming that carbon dioxide in oxygen for us to live. So we are completely interconnected, and we are all dancing this beautiful dance, and breathing is what connects us all, because all of us in this planet are all the beings in this planet. We're all intaking this, which is called air, right? As the major connector, and as the major nutrient for us. So at the level of science, there is a direct relationship between the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that somehow could be seen as the stress response, and the parasympathetic nervous system is the one related to the digestive response. So the vagus nerve, which is the major nerve in our body, is completely connected with those, and is the one that switches from one response to the other response. So breathing influences the vagus nerve. Absolutely. There are many studies based on this, and or studying this, researching this, so you can easily do your own research if you are interested about this. But basically, we know that breathing techniques can help us to get out of the fight-flight response, which is a response in which most of us will live many hours of our day. If you are a police officer in LAPD, for sure you want to have your fight-flight response within you, because you need to fight or you need to flight. You need to be in that sort of alertness. If you are driving in a winding road, in a kind of intense road, of course you are going to be somehow in that sort of response. So nothing wrong about this. This fight-flight response is a response, one of the 7 biological responses. Nothing wrong about it. The problem with this is that when we just keep staying in that response, then this is what brings stress, and then after stress become chronic, and then all the diseases start happening. So this is sort of a vicious circle, right? So we get into the fight-flight response because we need it, but then at some point we somehow didn't manage to being able to stop it. So then we just keep going in this fight-flight response, and then as we go in this fight-flight response, then we get so stressed, and then because we get so stressed, the stress becomes chronic. So breathing is crucial. Breathing is an excellent way to manage fight-flight response. I would say that most of the meditation techniques use breathing as part of their teaching practices, most of them. And I think that the reason is very simple. The reason is because when you are teaching meditation, or let's put it the other way around, when you are approaching meditation, because it's something new, because of breathing is really effective, most teachers use breathing to teach meditation in the beginning in order for the student to say, oh, I feel better. Oh, this is really helping me. There is a change in here, because the change is immediate. As soon as you are able to shift your attention towards your breathing and connect with your breathing, then immediately all the changes start happening. And because all these changes start happening, then that's a great way for teachers to say, you see, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Because, we can talk about meditation a lot, but then at some point, meditation becomes this sort of complicated and reachable technique that people can get, and breathing is sort of a great door. That's why my first doorway in my book is breathing. The first of the 5 doorways is breathing. That's the way. In reality, if we talk about meditation or we talk about yoga, we would talk in terms of density. The awareness should come from density. So you should start with the most dense to the most abstract. Makes sense? This is happening, for example, with the darshans. When you are talking about Vaisheshika or yoga or Sankhya, the different darshans, all the different darshans start with the grossest elements of reality to the more subtle elements of reality. This is a way to understand reality. This is how somehow Hinduism explain reality, and some of the darshans are, one is yoga, another one is Vedanta. So they took these different knowledges in order to create these darshans. Now, if we talk about density, obviously much more dense than breathing is the body. Makes sense? And it could be a way to understand meditation through the body. But I think that for some reason, for many of us, sometimes to become still, to connect with our body could bring some sort of unrested response. And that's why basically I start my book with the breathing technique, because breathing immediately switches. As soon as you are able to connect with breathing, then things start changing. Connecting with the body has many, would say, approaches on top of the relationship we have with our body, which not always is very healthy. Sometimes we have a lot of going on with our bodies. So that's why I kind of switch that, right? Because in reality, if I would be absolutely strict about the knowledge, and meditation should be taught from the more dense, or reality, or the idea of reality should be taught from the more dense to the more abstract. Now you go from body, breathing, heart, mind, and soul, then that would be the line. But then I switch it a little bit. I switch it in the beginning. I say, no, I'm going to start with breathing first, and then I'm going to move into the body. So any questions until now? No questions. Perfect. So let's start with the 5 different breathing techniques that I would like to go through tonight. So the first one is belly breathing. So it's very simple, and I would like you to relax on your chairs and close your eyes. Then somehow, in a comfortable way, with your arms relaxed, try to bring your hands closer to your belly. Maybe you interlace your fingers if that is helping you to keep your arms relaxed. Somehow I want you to connect physically with your belly through your hands. And as you connect physically with your hands in touch with your belly, start feeling how your belly expand and how your belly shrinks, how your belly moves down. Start feeling this. Don't push it, don't force it. Connect more with the expansion of your belly than the lifting of your belly or the shrinking of your belly. Your eyes are softly closed and you keep connecting with this expansion of your belly as you inhale and how your belly moves down or shrink when you exhale. Don't push it, don't force it, just connect. There goes in, there goes out, always through your nostrils. And we keep connecting with these cold belly breathings. Excellent. When you feel ready, please open your eyes. Of course, I know you can already tell, oh, yeah, why I don't do this every day a little bit more often, right? Why we don't stop a little bit for how long we were, 3 minutes, 4 minutes? Why don't stop? Oops, sorry, I have my phone on. I forgot to turn it off. Why I don't do this like more often? Well, that's the answer. The answer is yes, you should do it more often. So you have it. Now, let's talk a little bit about the breathing system, the respiratory system. We have nose, we have the mouth, we have the pharynx, which would be kind of the connection between the mouth and the trachea, or we can call it upper trachea. And then we have the trachea that goes down. The pharynx actually could be called upper trachea because the pharynx connect also the mouth, and the mouth connect with both the esophagus and the trachea. So the pharynx is the sort of connection between the nose and the mouth with the esophagus and the trachea. Makes sense? That's the pharynx, which we call it back throat, right? And then we have the trachea, and then we have the lungs. But then there is the engine of the breathing, which is this muscle called diaphragm, which is this sort of pizza shape that divides the thoracic area with the abdominal area. So it's a muscle that has the form of like a pizza, and then it goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. When you are doing belly breathings, what you do with that is pushing it down. So in reality, what you are doing is expanding the thoracic cavity or area for your lungs to expand. Because if we would be able, we have the ribs, but if we would be able to open the thoracic area like this, then the lungs are going to expand like this. This is how the lung works, right? So that's why if we, for an accident, hit a lung, the lung completely shrink, right? That's the reason. The reason is that the lung works by expansion. The lungs expand. They are just constricted on that particular area. As soon as you expand the area, the lung is going to expand. As soon as we use the diaphragm muscle to shrink it, to just make it smaller, then we're using that to exhale. So a few things in here, important things with that description. First, we use our nostrils to breathe, never our mouth to breathe, except for very particular type of breathings or different situations, but those are rare. We use our breathing to breathe. The reason for that are three scientific reasons. The first one, the cilias. When we inhale, the cilias capture the dust in there. Those are the little hairs we have in our nose. And when we exhale, we clean the cilias. If we keep inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, the cilias get completely dirty and locked. So you want to clean the cilias when you exhale. That's why we inhale and exhale through the nostrils. Makes sense? That's the reason. We have these cilias. The cilias are capturing the dust, but then the dust stays in there. When we exhale, we are bringing that dust away from the cilias. First reason. Second reason, humidity and heat. When we inhale through the nostrils to our lungs, towards our lungs, the air gets humid, more humid, and the air gets warmer. And that's very important for our respiratory system. That's why we need to inhale and exhale through our nostrils. The third thing that really helps, there is some research done, should be much more research done, but there is not much that says or kind of proves that the pressure that we create when you inhale, because inhaling is an effort, right? You don't inhale, we inhale automatically, but inhaling is an effort. If you take a deep inhalation, you need to really do the effort. No, inhalation is an effort, exhalation is a relaxation of that effort. So when you inhale, that pressure that we create on the inhalation somehow benefits the brain. There are some research done, they are working on this. I can go further than that. I don't know much more than that, but the research is done. And that's the third reason. Now, that's the nose. Then the trachea, we know that the gas goes down to the trachea and then the lungs. When you expand the thoracic cavity or area, then you are able to, you are giving the lungs a space for them to expand. And that's what we do when we do belly breathings. When you do belly breathings, basically you are creating this expansion of the area so your belly moves forward. Why your belly moves forward? Because the muscle is pushing all the organs and then your belly goes up. And then you create a space for the lung to expand. Then the important part of belly breathings is to be able to allow to flow, but somehow have subtle control of the diaphragm muscle without intervening so much, manipulating so much the muscle. You want to use the muscle to gently expand the belly so you create more capacity for your lungs to expand, and to gently push it a little bit, like a little baby. You're just pushing a little bit for the lungs to really release the air. Make any sense? Let's practice again. Bring your hands like this, wrap your belly, allow your belly to flow, to drop your belly completely, don't push it in. And then develop belly breathings. I basically want you to become aware of the work that the diaphragm muscle is doing when you are doing belly breathings. Can you feel it? Excellent. Let it go. Any questions about belly breathings? Perfect. Belly breathings is, I would say, the first technique that you want to practice. You really want to master belly breathings. You really want to connect with your diaphragm muscle. You really want to understand this expansion of your lungs and this shrinking of your lungs. You really want to understand the breathing going in through your nostrils and going down through your trachea. Belly breathings can really help you to somehow become very aware of your breathing, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic technique. So we move to the second technique, which is complete breathing. Here, I would advise Melissa to be conscious about this because it requires an effort on the lungs. So you want to be careful. It's a technique that requires an effort. It's a very powerful technique. It's called complete breathing. If I don't remember wrong, it's called also dirga in Sanskrit, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm maybe not remembering perfect the name in Sanskrit. But complete breathing is fantastic. And imagine your lungs divided in three chambers: the low chamber, the middle chamber, and the upper chamber. Our lungs are two triangles like this. So the low chamber is the biggest area. The middle chamber is a little bit smaller, and then very small on the top is this sort of top or high chamber. So what you're going to do is to breathe to the low chamber first, like in belly breathings, because in belly breathings, this is what we do. We expand the low area, or the lower area of our lungs, and then the lower area of our lungs expand. So you breathe towards that area, and you keep doing this. Then I will guide you. But what we're going to do is to breathe towards the center of our lungs. Our lower area of the lungs physically can be seen or felt as the belly. Because when you inhale to the lower area, you see that your belly goes out. You can feel it. Your belly goes out. So physically, it's represented by your belly, but in reality, it's not your belly. Then the middle area of the lung is represented physically by the chest. So you're going to breathe on the lower area, your belly is going to expand. Then you're going to keep breathing to your middle area, then your chest is going to expand. And then by the end, we're going to go slowly and by steps. You're going to breathe to the top part, which physically can be represented by the collarbones. So you're going to feel it in here. Makes sense? When I say physically represented, it's for you to have the clear idea or the clear perception of what is happening, what is going on here, in order to manage to understand and to master complete breathing. So again, we feel the lower chamber, then we feel the middle chamber, and then we feel the upper chamber. I guide you in the process because it has to be done very slowly and without any effort. It requires a little effort on the top part. Make sense? Follow me and see what happened. Close your eyes. And then we begin with belly breathings because the first chamber of the complete breathing is the lower chamber, so belly breathings will make it. So you're fulfilling the lower chamber of your lungs. Deep inhalations and deep exhalations, your belly expand, your belly shrink. You feel that. You feel how your lungs expand and shrink on each inhalation and on each exhalation. After you master that, you're going to start bringing more air into the middle chamber, which is represented by your chest. So on the next inhalation, you go to belly breathing, expanding your belly. And then you keep inhaling, and then you start expanding your chest. And then you release. First your chest, and then the belly. And then once again, inhalation, the belly expand. Keep inhaling, the chest expand. And then release. First the chest, then the belly. Continue doing this. Inhalation, belly expand. Keep inhaling, the chest expand. And then you release. When you release, you want to involve the diaphragm muscle a little bit more. Deep inhalation, the belly expand. Keep inhaling, the chest expand. And then you release, involving your diaphragm muscle, involving it more to release all the air that you brought. Repeat this 2-3 more rounds on your own. When you feel ready, please open your eyes. Were you able to master this somehow?
I have a question, Diego.
Yes, of course.
Um, do you ask for a pause between the belly, the lower lungs, and then the middle? There's some,
I wouldn't call it a pause. It's kind of like redirecting the perception of where the air goes. The air goes anyway.
yeah,
You keep inhaling, there goes anyway. But you really want to create this idea that the lungs expand because you are bringing more air. So
okay,
you physically, internally, you feel that your belly start expanding, but at some point the belly can't expand anymore. That's the moment in which you start switching towards the middle chamber because you keep inhaling. It requires effort because if not, the air naturally would stop right there. It
right,
requires an effort for you to keep inhaling so your lungs also expand.
right,
It takes time. Let's do it again because it's not that easy to master. Okay. You want to have the real understanding on how your belly is, the real perception more than understanding, the real perception of your belly is expanding. You all can feel that. Then you want to keep inhaling and then your chest start expanding too. It's much more shorter, the period, the belly expand much more. Why? Because again, think about the triangle. The lower part of the lungs are going to expand completely. It's the biggest area of the lung, so it takes much more time to fill them. Then we want to fill the middle part of the lungs, which are more compressed because of the rib cage and also because it's a smaller portion of the lungs. So you are going to feel that the expansion of the belly is complete, and somehow this expansion is not as I would say whole to describe it somehow. Make any sense?
yeah. I've just had so many teachers do that pause. And,
Hmm.
um, I mean, I understand it, I've done that so much that it's hard for me to think, oh, keep going.
Yes,
You know what I mean? I mean,
no problem. If
yeah,
that is helping you, then do the pause.
yeah, yeah.
If that is helping you, nothing is going to happen. I don't like to cut the breathing still. I don't like to create a pause in there.
You don't.
I don't.
You don't. Okay.
No, I don't. I think that it's just a matter of mastering it. The
Yeah.
things that we want to master things, boom. So
Right.
I'm going there in 3 minutes. I master complete breathing, and that's it. But that's not how it is. Also, there is an important thing. I would say that complete breathing is a great practice if you're laying down. It's
Oh.
much more manageable
Hmm.
because the lungs are just uh, uh, how you say, in no vertical, like an horizontal position. That's the word that I was looking for. The lungs are horizontal, so it's easy for the lungs to expand and then keep expanding a little bit more on the chest. When we are like this, everything is pushing down, right? Gravity is pushing us down. So it's much more difficult for the lungs to expand because the lungs expand this way. Make sense?
Does. I
Yeah, laying down is a great way to practice this. But no, I would particularly I don't like to stop the breathing. But again, if this is easier for you, I always apply my teacher WW thing, whatever works, because I think that it's so much discussion about how things should be done instead to do the thing.
right.
Do the thing, because we just lose a lot of time in this sort of, well, the things need to be done this way or the other way, or mantra doesn't mean tool means I don't know, and then everyone start discussing, and it's all about discussion. I don't find any pleasure on that.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. I mean, you've heard of box breathing, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, well, but it's natural because it's a natural response. I mean, there is something within that we all want to do things right, right? So
Yeah.
we all want to how I do this, and but then my teacher, moderation, including moderation, because we need to apply moderation in there, including moderation, because we need to be moderated in the way of what is more important, to do the thing or to do it right.
Right.
Much
Well,
more
it's
important is to do the thing until you master it, right? Because if there is so much frustration about doing things. Oh, I know I'm no good at this.
right, right, exactly so. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm no good at this. It's breathing. Come on.
yeah, really.
We're amazing breathers. We've
I don't,
been breathing 15,000 times per day. So if you don't know how to breathe,
yeah,
you
right.
are a little bit confused.
I don't think we could get much better at it than we are at this time in our lives.
Yeah, so just let it go. But yeah, for me is I expand the lungs, I expand the belly, and then it's a moment in which there is no more capacity in that belly to expand. you know
Yeah.
then
But this
you in
part
a
of
flow,
here,
you bring that energy up towards the chest, and you say, okay, go to the chest now.
yeah,
It's a dance. When we are doing dances, we don't pause. We want to keep the flow.
got it.
Perfect. So let's practice one more time, because the third part is really difficult, which
Yeah,
is the upper part.
right.
It requires pauses, efforts. It requires everything in there. So it's much more difficult to keep the flow to the top. So
Mhm.
you really want to master the lower back, the lower the chamber, as it's called precisely, and then the middle chamber. You really want to master that. When you really master that, you feel really comfortable there, then you go to the top. Make sense? Because doing the other way around is like a stepping up to the letter or down to the letter, stepping steps. It's avoiding steps. Make sense? You don't want to do that. You want to go easy with the belly breathing. That's why we start with belly breathing. You master belly breathing. Then after mastering belly breathing, you master how I'm gonna bring that complete breathing into the lungs on the chest area. Make sense? Let's start with the two chambers, and then we do the third chamber by the end.
Okay.
All right. Close your eyes and start with belly breathings. And again, think about breathing, about this energy that you are through which you are nourishing your beautiful body. And think about the diaphragm muscle, how you are really using your diaphragm muscle to create a space for your lungs to expand on the lower chamber. That's why your belly goes out. Not because you breathe through your belly, it's because you are expanding the thoracic area, moving your diaphragm muscle down. Feel that. Feel how powerful that muscle is. After a few repetitions, you start moving towards the second chamber, the middle chamber, when you feel ready. So you take a deep inhalation, your belly expands. You keep inhaling, your chest expands. Practice that. And then you release. I would recommend to release with some little effort on the diaphragm muscle because you're bringing a lot of air in. So you really want to push a little bit to release all the air that you brought in. And then you go again. Your belly expands. And then your lungs expand. Master this on your own pace. If you feel ready, if you master this somehow, then we're going to move to the third chamber, the upper chamber. So you take a deep inhalation, your belly expands. You keep inhaling, your chest expands. And then you do the last effort and you keep inhaling, feeling the upper lungs. And then you really release. Now, really involving the diaphragm muscle to empty those lungs. And then you release again, inhaling, belly expand, chest expand, upper lungs expand, and then you release. Continue doing this as you try to master it. Do your best. Don't push it, don't force it. If you want to stay just with the first step and the second step, stay there. If you just want to stay on belly breathing, stay there. Whatever you want to do is fine. I'll give you a couple of minutes so you keep mastering this complete breathing. Perfect. When you feel ready, please open your eyes. Breathe normally. Couple things here. You may start feeling lightheaded. If that happens, you just stop. The reason is very simple. You're bringing much more oxygen that you probably need. It's a change in the oxygen levels, and then you start feeling like, oh. So just when you feel that this is uncomfortable, you stop. Okay. You manage on your own. Nothing is going to happen. Uh, but this is not something that you want to practice all day long, neither. You don't want to change the level of oxygen. Actually, breathing is a great, very complex mixing of elements. It's not just oxygen, it's carbon dioxide, it's also nitrogen, it's also water. So there is a lot of things that are mixed on every time that we inhale. And the idea that we only need oxygen is not correct. In reality, there is a correlation between the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide we need in our body. Don't remember to exactly the ratio, but if I am not wrong, I don't remember 6 to 1 or 12 to 1. And the upper number is carbon dioxide, not the other one, the oxygen. Makes sense? So that's the ratio in our body for us to really be healthy. So very important to understand that, because most of the time we think that we need to breathe a lot. Breathing goes on its own, and our body breathes on its own. The entire planet breathes on its own. So we don't want to interrupt that, except that we are just doing something on purpose, which in this case could be complete breathing. Makes sense? And you do it for a short period of time. Second thing, how that thing on the top works. Was it very uncomfortable or something that you feel you can manage?
Yeah, well, that's the completion of the inhale.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
kind of the finishing.
Yeah.
One important thing is sometimes when I see people practicing, they start doing something like this. You don't really want any of that.
Right.
You really want to relax your shoulders down.
Mhm.
And this is the end. It's the end of the breathing. I feel it kind of around here. It's like it's the last sort of thing that goes in here. And then you release. Another important thing, now when you're practicing belly breathing, you really start using the diaphragm muscle. You really want to exhale, moving that diaphragm muscle all the way up to really empty the lungs when you exhale. And then you let it go. And the diaphragm muscle is going to expand completely for the air to come in again. Makes sense? It's a great way to master the engine of the breathing system, which is the diaphragm muscle. It's like a pump in there. It's moving like this. Makes sense? It's a very powerful breathing. So, all right. Alternate nostril breathing. You will practice this with me, but we are going to practice again. So use your right hand. And as you use your right hand, I usually like to place my left hand under the elbow. And then as I am here, so I don't have so much effort on the right arm, then you place finger number 1 and 2 on the forehead. And then finger number 3 and number 4 are locking the left nostril, and the thumb is locking the right nostril. Make sense? So you take a deep inhalation, you lock both your nostrils, then you open the right, you exhale, inhale through the right, lock it, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, lock it, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, lock it, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, lock it, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, lock it, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, lock it, exhale to the right. When you exhale to the right, you release, keep your eyes softly closed. Excellent, open your eyes. Any questions on the technique here? No questions. Very simple. Finger number 1 and 2 in touch with the third eye. Thumb locking the nostril. Finger number 3 and 4 locking the left nostril. Makes sense? This lock this side, this lock this side. You always inhale. There are many, again, then if you go to different teachers, they probably are like 17 different ways to do alternate nostril breathing. I like this one, which is you exhale and inhale through the same nostril. Always. You exhale and inhale through the same nostril, you lock, you unlock the other nostril, you exhale and inhale. So you take a deep inhalation, you lock, then you open the right, you exhale, inhale through the right, lock, exhale through the left, inhale through the left, lock, exhale through the right. That's how it is. Very simple. Yes?
So, is that balancing the left and the right hemisphere?
Exactly. We are going to now do the solar and lunar pranayams, but basically what it's doing is balancing the two energies within. You know, the right side of our body seems to be like the masculine side of our body. That's why the heart is not there.
Right.
And the feminine side of our body is the left, in which the heart is the queen. Makes sense?
Yep.
So you really want to embrace those two energies. We all do have those two energies. How many times you just stood about something and go like this into some story, and how many times as a woman you just embrace your energy and were kind of soothing and expressing compassion and expressing tenderness. So we all, regardless of our gender, we all have these two energies playing. This is a dualistic universe, right? There is two energies constantly forces that are playing against each other. Or that's, I wouldn't say against each other. They are just working together to make this happening. Make sense? And electricity is a perfect example of that. If you just cancel one pole, there is no electricity. That's how electrician works. You say, well, how these guys are working out, he's gonna get electrocuted. No, because they know. So when they cancel one pole, they can do whatever they want in the other pole. They just has not to become the connection, that's all. That's why this guy work on with I don't know how many balls from the street, and then there's work there because they know what they are doing, because electricity is canceled when one pole is missing. When the two poles are together and working, boom, electricity becomes electricity. Makes sense? So this is basically what you are doing. You are balancing both your masculine energy and your feminine energy. Makes sense? Now, let's see how we can do it, because you can use this also in your favor. For example, if your respiratory system is very dry, you want to bring the lunar pranayam, the lunar energy, in order to soothe it, in order to bring some sort of calmness on that dryness. If your respiratory system is very wet, you want to use the solar pranayam, the energy of the masculine, in order to dry it out. Makes sense? So if you have a lot of phlegm within you and a lot of phlegm, which is something that happens now, is going to start happening in a few months. We all in October, November, December, which Vata energy comes with. So we start having a lot of trouble with that. So you can use this too. It's so very simple. With the right, this is how I do it. Again, many teachers, I know that many yogis can blame me and slam my face like you don't know nothing about this. But this is the easy way that I do it, and it really works. You use the finger, the index finger, and then you lock the nostril, and then you inhale through the right, and you exhale through the left. And then once again, you inhale through the right. And then you exhale through the left. And you inhale through the right. Then you exhale through the left. So to embrace the solar pranayam, you always inhale through the right, you always exhale through the right, to the left. In order to embrace the lunar pranayam, you inhale through the left, use the left hand, you inhale through the left, you exhale through the right. You inhale through the left, you exhale through the right. Use the left hand, dear Caro. So you inhale through the left, you exhale through the right. Use the left hand, dear Melissa. Left hand. You inhale through the left, you exhale through the right. Makes sense? Inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. I am mirroring on you, right? You understand that? I use in the other hands. It's a mirror. Because if I do this, then you do the opposite. So we are facing each other. So I am making up that this is my left hand and this is my right hand. Makes sense? So that's what I am doing this way. So don't get confused. It's funny because this always brings some sort of, oh, but you are doing the other way around. And some people, even I say they are going to keep using the other side. It's incredible because they just do the switch, right? This is how it is. But, it's easy. It's easier. It's easier for the student when it's seen and say, oh, so I do this and this. It's less confusing somehow. And at least I was taught that. So you see these two techniques, complete breathing and alternate nostril breathing and solar and lunar pranayams somehow are the same. Alternate nostril breathing, basically you are balancing both energies. Solar and lunar pranayam, you are embracing one of the two energies upon your will, upon your need. You want to dry, solar pranayam, right? Breathing through the right, exhaling through the left. You want to wet, you want to humidify, you want to bring some soothness to the respiratory system, inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. Any questions about that? No questions until now. Okay, so we have 7 more minutes, so we can go to the 3 phases of breathing. For me, the 3 phases of breathing is the most powerful technique, breathing technique. And the reason for that is because I am a meditation teacher, most of any of them. I love meditation. I think that meditation is the core of my practice. And the 3 phases of breathing is a great way to understand meditation. Great way to understand meditation. So, what happened in the 3 phases of breathing? When you inhale, it's an effort. When you exhale, it's the relaxation of that effort. And then there is a little gap. That's the 3 phases. We don't breathe. Right. I am exaggerating, but we don't breathe that way. It's not 2 phases. There are no 2 phases. We think that there are 2 phases. Inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation. No, it's not like that. The breathing goes this way. You inhale, it's an effort. When you just reach the peak, you exhale. And when you exhale by the end, there is a preparation, like a little gap. It's a resting place. It's a resting phase. It's a little gap. Inhalation, exhalation, little gap. Inhalation, exhalation, little gap. Inhalation, exhalation, little gap. That little gap in this 2025 is mostly non-existence in our life. It's like, what are you talking about? I barely breathe. But if you really connect with your breathing, you will find it. And when you find that little teeny, cutie place, then you will like it. Why? Because that little teeny, cutie, beauty place is basically stillness. Yeah. It's nothing. You're not doing nothing there. It's a stillness, which is that part of ourselves that is a little bit missed. We all miss that part. That's what meditation is coming home. When they say meditation is coming home, or yoga is coming home. Why is coming home? It's coming to that stillness. What the stillness is? Lack of activity. That would be a definition of a stillness, right? The stillness is the lack of activity. If I go to the dictionary and look, what is a stillness? The meaning of stillness, the lack of activity. Perfect. That's a definition, no? Stillness is the lack of activity. Perfect. In that little gap, cutie, beauty, teeny gap, there is no activity, zero, nothing. And that's beautiful. Now, what is going to happen is that you do the inhalation, the exhalation, and when you find that, you say, I'm going to stay here. And then that little teeny cutie, teeny part start getting bigger and more present within you. Makes sense? And at some point, when you really master this, you don't want to leave from there. So you don't want to start kind of panicking, like, I'm not breathing, because you want to stay there. It's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful place to stay. Makes sense? Inhalation is an effort. It's beautiful. Who doesn't? Everyone loves to inhale. Beautiful. Exhalation. Oh, feel great. But then another surprise that this amazing universe gives us is, hey, listen. Listen to that silence. Listen to that nothingness. Listen to that beauty in there. Makes sense? That's the three phases of breathing. There are many things that we can do. We are not going to have the time to do it, but let's do a few things about this. Let's just start embracing this. Okay? So close your eyes. First thing that you want to do is to connect with your breathing. As it is, it's perfect. Just let it go. Allow your breathing to flow. And then, of course, you're going to recognize the inhalation and you're going to recognize the exhalation. The trick here is to recognize the third neutral phase, the resting phase. See if you can connect with that. Gently open your eyes, please. Were you able to recognize this? Yes, no, yes, no
Oh, yeah.
problem.
I think it's really, it's easier for me to pay attention to that, to the pause, than my earlier question about breathe in, hold it, breathe in, hold it, that kind of three-part breathing. The pause, I've been studying that more or being more aware of it lately, and it's just a delightful place to be. In
Yeah.
the pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pause.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
just
pause.
sort of
Yeah, it's a
sink.
delightful place to be. I'm sorry?
It just feels like you sink right into it. Like,
Oh, yes. It's a beautiful place. So embrace this.
Yeah.
How simple is that? Embrace this. And go to that place and and please send me a picture when you okay.
A beautiful place.
Yeah. So let's do it. But now, in a very gentle way, gentle without forcing it, stay there a little bit longer. Just stay. Just stay. Try to stay there a little bit. Don't push it. Don't force it. Let's start. Just connect with your breathing as it is, recognize the faces, and then when you feel ready, try to make that face a little longer. When you feel ready, then open your eyes. So one of the things that happen when you really become master this and start playing a little bit with that place is that it resets your breathing, because the next inhalation becomes much more profound and much more whole, without any force, without any pushing. It's like a preparation for the next cycle to be. And this is the representation of life: effort, relaxation, resting. Effort, relaxation, resting. Effort, relaxation, resting. Because I am South American, Argentinian, I love the resting side of it. All right, so beautiful to start with, to be with you. I hope these techniques help you. And in Mexico, we are going to keep deepening into them.
Good.
I'm very excited to go. I assume that you too.
Yep.
All right. Any questions about these 3 phases of breathing? All right. So you know that you can call me at any time or you can text me at any time. And I hope to see you 3 at the book signing. It would
Oh,
be
yeah.
a nice celebration.
Oh, for sure. I've
Thank
got
you
a
so
list
much.
of
Thank you
people
so
I
much
want
for your
to
time.
buy that.
Remember, September the 20th from 5 to 7, Mystic Journey, Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Ciao. Beautiful to be with you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.